Freedom from the Mind, a primer on thought versus thinking. 1. Categorizing our challenges. Internal versus external core objective, the diagnostic phase of mental freedom. The first step toward cognitive wellness is the ability to diagnose the nature of a problem. Most human struggles feel overwhelming because we fail to distinguish between our internal psychological state and our external physical reality. By categorizing challenges, we strip away unnecessary complexity, allowing for precise and easy solutions. The two realms of problem-solving: internal, psychological aspects; external, physical aspects. Domain: mind-related issues such as guilt, anger, sorrow, or immoral desires. Domain: world-related issues such as office discipline, legal matters, or business risks. Focus: how we feel about an event or our perceived duty to suffer. Focus: planning, decision-making, and taking physical action. Resolution: achieved through non-intervention and letting go of control. Resolution: achieved through active thinking and strategic maneuvers. When we separate these two realms, we realize that the internal mind requires no fixing. This clarity begins by understanding the mechanics of thought versus the operation of thinking. 2. Defining the mechanics, thought versus thinking core objective, identifying mental operations. In a wellness context, thought and thinking are not synonyms. They are two distinct operations of the human mind. Distinguishing between them allows a learner to identify which mental activities are natural and which are self-imposed burdens. The nature of thought is a natural, spontaneous occurrence within the psychological system. Unconscious nature: thoughts arise on their own without our permission, knowledge, or volition. Extreme brevity: the lifespan of a thought is merely a fraction of a second. It dies as soon as it is born, if left alone. Natural origin: thoughts are a divine flow. Because they are unconscious, they are inherently holy and innocent, regardless of their content. The nature of thinking is an active, willful operation that we perform upon our thoughts. Conscious, willful nature: it is a deliberate action or contribution performed by the individual. Individual contribution: it requires our constant renewal and energy to sustain itself. Vicious circles: unlike free-flowing thoughts, thinking creates a cycle that revolves around the self, gaining intensity and weight through our participation. To understand how a fleeting thought becomes a heavy burden, we can look to a simple, natural phenomenon. San, the analogy of incense smoke core objective, visualizing the transience of the mind. The source provides a powerful visualization to help learners grasp the inherent weakness of thoughts when they are not fueled by active thinking. Thoughts come on their own, like smoke waves emerging from an incense stick, where multiple waves of smoke come out one by one. Thoughts also come one by one, and also disappear like a smoke which vanishes in the air. But what would happen if we try to take control over these thoughts? When we try to take them under our control, they get converted into thinking. The so what? For the learner, thoughts are inherently temporary. Like smoke, they have no power to linger unless we intervene. Suffering is not caused by the arrival of the smoke, the thought. It is caused by our attempt to capture or ride the smoke, which converts a natural disappearance into a sustained internal struggle. Number 4. The vicious circle: why riding thoughts causes suffering. Core objective: analyzing the conversion from flow to vortex. Suffering occurs when we intervene in the mind's natural flow. The source illustrates this through 3 key case studies: an employee seeking revenge after a harsh punishment, a grieving mother paying homage to her sorrow, and a person feeling guilty over immoral sexual desires. In each case, the individual treats a natural thought as something that requires their attention. The doctor's wife, for instance, believed it was her duty as a parent to remain in sorrow, giving authority and consent to her grief. This act of riding, the thought converts the free flow of water into spinning water, a psychological vortex that traps the individual. The anatomy of mental exhaustion. 1. A thought arises naturally. An unconscious image or feeling guilt, sorrow, or an immoral desire enters the mind. 2. We ride or align with it. We travel with the thought, often out of a sense of moral obligation or a desire for control. 3. We give it authority consent. We justify the thinking, e.g., I am right to feel guilty, or I must figure out why I have this desire. 4. Roots in the nervous system. This sustained spinning water effect stimulates the nervous system physically. By paying homage to the thought, we allow it to manifest as physical symptoms like heart issues, sleeplessness, or exhaustion. The goal for the learner is to stop the conversion process for internal feelings, while learning to use the vortex of thinking exclusively for external goals. 5. The functional mind. When thinking is the right tool core objective, repurposing thinking as a strategic tool. Thinking is not an enemy, it is a tool for the external world. While refining your internal thoughts is a futile exercise, using thinking to plan a legal defense or a business strategy is essential. The mind functions like a vehicle. To navigate the world, you need both the drive of the accelerator and the caution of the brake. The brake and accelerator analogy component: mental equivalent, practical benefit. Accelerator, positive optimism, profit focus drives action, and increases investment toward external goals. WHT, MCUST, MCU, and telling, WST, telling, Realix, WST, negative cautions, and a negative cautions, telling, suspicion regulates risk, and ensures appropriate precautions are taken, telling, WST, 11, telling, WST, .11 for use, tally and for use, WST. Important logic for the learner. A negative thought, such as the fear of business loss, is actually positive when it leads to a physical action, like adjusting an investment. However, a thought is truly negative when it forces you to look inward to refine or fix your own mind. If a thought doesn't help you act in the world, it requires no intervention. 6. The path to mental freedom, non-intervention core objective. Implementing the Let Be protocol. True mental wellness does not require forcing noble thoughts. It requires the cessation of conscious contribution to the internal narrative. When we stop intervening, the mind's frequency naturally resets. Learner's checklist for a stress-free life. Accept all thoughts as natural, spiritual, and holy, regardless of content, even immoral or undesirable thoughts. View them as a divine flow that requires no judgment. Recognize that thoughts die on their own. Remember that an unconscious thought lasts only a fraction of a second. Stop the conscious contribution. Avoid riding the thought or giving it authority. If you don't renew it, it cannot sustain itself. Dismiss the office at bedtime. When retiring to bed, drop all external activities. Thinking is the enemy of sleep. Thoughts are not. The frequency of peace. By practicing non-interference, the mind naturally slows. A state of crisis that produces 5 thoughts per minute will naturally decelerate through non-intervention, first to 1 every 5 minutes, then once every 30 minutes, until thoughts appear only on rare, necessary occasions. 7. Final encouragement. The path to wellness is a journey of relinquishing responsibility for the natural movements of your mind. You do not need to fix your psychological system. It is a self-balancing, divine process. Grant your thoughts the freedom to appear and disappear as they will, and you will find that your burden vanishes with them. Always remember, if the thoughts are free, you are also free.